Alexandra Toomey. I'm a freshman and my major is psychology.
Do you consider yourself an academic writer or a writer for social purposes?
I would consider myself an academic writer, I think.
What genre of writing do you most enjoy making?
I like to do persuasive writing, mostly.
So, what type of writing do you enjoy reading?
I like to read fiction. Is that a reasonable answer?
Sure.
Okay. Then yeah, I would
Sure.
say fiction.
Okay. What medium do you usually write on? Can substitute medium with platform if you'd like.
Like a
Stage
table.
even?
Like, do you enjoy, like, writing on your laptop, like writing in a
Oh, no. I like writing,
Okay.
like handwriting. I hate typing.
Why do you hate typing?
Because it's hard for me to, like, keep my thoughts going. I like to, like, see the words, I guess. I don't know. That's weird.
Fair. In what environment do you write best?
One where I'm alone and listening to music.
Are there any circumstances that prompt you to write socially, perhaps?
My friends.
What's your biggest challenge when it comes to writing?
The motivation to write.
When you're writing, or when you're done writing rather, what are your revision practices?
They're in critical condition.
How so?
I have a hard time with not waiting till the last minute, so revision is usually not really a thing. But when I can revise, the paper's a lot better.
How often do you write?
Not very often at all.
Do you think that frequent writing makes you a better writer?
Absolutely.
So then, why the lack of motivation to write more frequently?
I like to read more than I like to write, and writing is more of a hassle to me.
How do you feel about people commenting or critiquing your writing?
It's completely necessary, but it depends on how, like, if they're critiquing what I'm saying, then I'm a lot more defensive, but if they're critiquing how I'm saying it, then I'm like, okay, I probably should have reworded it or something.
How do you feel about writing and or collaborating with other writers?
I don't mind writing with other people, however, if I don't like their opinion, I don't like to write with them.
Okay. What's the best advice you've ever been given about writing?
Don't hesitate. Just go for it and then fix it later.
Just jump right on it.
Yeah.
All right. So my final question for you, Miss Hallie Toomey. Are you a writer? And if so, why?
Yes, because writing proves a point, and I like to prove my point.
Sounds good.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Sweet, yeah.
Hi, my name's Christian Mason. I'm a freshman and I'm a psychology major.
Do you consider yourself an academic writer or a writer for social purposes, Christian?
A writer for social purposes.
So, socially, why do you write?
I write to sort of record all the thoughts in my head that didn't get to be expressed, and they sort of recreate like an alternate version of that day, so to speak.
Okay. What genre of writing do you most enjoy making?
I enjoy making a lot of fictional stories. I enjoy a lot of fantasy type stories. Those are like my favorite to write.
And what do you enjoy reading then?
Memoirs are fun to read. Again, fantasy and fiction, young adult, that type of category.
What medium do you usually write on?
I like to write down on paper.
Why?
On a computer, I feel sort of drained of all my inspiration. Getting a pen and paper sort of inspires me to dig deep and really bring out my inner thoughts.
In what environment do you best write?
I write best when I'm alone or when I'm outside on a beautiful day and just there's a lot of thoughts flowing through my head.
Would you say that good weather is, a circumstance that would prompt you to write more socially, perhaps in a group outside?
I think so. That's when I'm feeling, I guess, my most, cheeky and cheesy, and I just want to write and, having good times and things like that. So I think that would inspire me.
What's your biggest challenge when it comes to writing, Christian?
Being honest with myself, I guess. I guess when I'm in thought too much, I tend to think of things that sort of like disturb me, but it's like the truth, so I have trouble sort of being honest with my writing.
You mentioned being honest with your writing. What would you say your revision practices are?
My revision practices are establishing sort of my point and getting to it, not having to re-explain myself. I tend to be a little too wordy because of that. So I try and go back and be direct instead of all over the place.
How often do you write, Christian?
I write every now and again, not really frequently. I write when there's something heavy on my mind, or I write when I have a thought and pen and paper is available.
Do you think that frequent writing makes you a better writer?
I think it does because everyone has their own style of writing, and the more you practice writing, the more you'll find it, and the more you'll be able to write papers, with your own flavor.
How do you feel about people commenting on or critiquing your writing?
I'm very sensitive to criticism, I'm not gonna lie, but when it comes to criticism, it definitely helps because I get an opinion of someone who's outside of my own head, and regardless if it's negative or positive, it's good to hear.
What's the best advice you've ever been given about writing?
The best advice I've ever been given when writing, I would have to say it would be sure and, don't be ashamed of your thoughts because that's going to show in the writing. Know what you're talking about and be comfortable with it.
So, Christian Mason, I'll leave you now with one final question. Are you a writer? And if so, why?
Yes, I'm a writer because I like to expand my literary skill set and knowledge. That's why I'm a writer.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much, Christian.
Malcolm Barrero. I'm a freshman, and I'm a public relations and philosophy major.
Malcolm, do you consider yourself an academic writer or a writer for social purposes?
I consider myself a more academic writer. I take a lot of writing-oriented classes, and social writing is not my forte. I find it shallow and meaningless.
Fair. What genre of writing do you enjoy most?
What genre do I enjoy most? Non-fiction.
And what do you enjoy reading?
Non-fiction.
Very colorful. What medium do you usually enjoy writing on?
The computer.
Why is that, Malcolm?
Well, I'll tell you, Matt, because when I sit down at the computer, I feel that my ideas just begin to flow, like an open river. And when it's springtime and flowers start to bloom, I sit down to the computer and what comes out is like a new residual form of life that kind of just stems from my hands and it creeps onto the computer, and eventually, once Pride Print finally gives me my copy, it becomes a lovely hard copy that is easily digestible that everyone can read.
Do you feel that you struggle with Pride Print a lot?
I struggle more with Pride Print than I have with anything in my life.
Have you left complaints with the university about their system that's lacking so much in efficiency?
I did a sit-in at President Rabinowitz's office.
Fantastic.
And I was there for 2.5 weeks. And interestingly enough, the guy just didn't show up once. So he must be doing something. He's in the field mostly. I feel like he's got field worker. But
Back nine, right?
Right. That's
Of
yeah,
course.
exactly.
Absolutely.
That's
In
a-
what environment do you write best? Not
What
student.
environment do I write best in? I will give credit to Hofstra University on this front. The Accent and Hammer libraries are both very well equipped and perfect places for any sort of writing. Whether you want to have a nice quiet place to sit down and tweet, which I'm sure a lot of students, that can apply to many people, or you want to, get work done for any of your classes. Both of the libraries are excellent.
That is when they're not flooded, right?
Well, even when because the bottom floor is flooded, but then you can go up whenever you can go up to the first, the quiet floors, and then everything is better, and that's the best place to work.
You mentioned the quiet floors. Are there any circumstances that prompt you to write socially, perhaps?
No.
Other than floods, of course?
No.
No, okay, great. What's your biggest challenge when it comes to writing?
These are really bad questions.
They are.
Who came up with this?
You're still on camera.
I don't care. Who came up with this?
believe-
Was this that girl? Did she do this? No. Okay, we're gonna stop the camera. Obviously, this is not good because these questions don't. The medium question is number 4, and do you consider yourself an academic or social writer is number 1. If you were writing on any other medium, when you're socially writing, what does that mean? Identify that surface. That doesn't make a lick of sense. They should be next to each other, camera. The collaborating thing is too far away from, the collaborating question is too far away from the revision practices because that's the same thing. Why are we laughing? It's not funny. This is just stupid. It's poorly put together.
It's funny to watch you do this.
Oh, this is just stupid.
Is there going to be a blooper reel?
Like, do I have
This is the blooper.
I
It's gonna be the end of the video.
I realize that I get more upset than the average person with this, but like this is just poor. This is hastily put together. This is just
Entirely. It's hastily put together by 45 other people. So
stupid. No. It's hastily put together by 3 people deciding for
In a
4 or
group
5
of
other
4,
people.
yes.
Right, exactly.
Yes. Correct.
This is just bad.
Misinformed.
I just have to. Am I going to have to be the one to tell her that this is bad? It's not going to be you.
It's not gonna
going to be.
be
Sure,
me,
sure as hell's not going to be Ariana. Because when has
The TA
Ariana
can't-
ever said a controversial word in
The
her
TA can't
life?
object to the cooperating
This
professor's
is just stupid.
decision.
What medium do you write on? Do you consider yourself a writer for academic or social purposes? I consider myself a social purpose writer, but I really, really love to write on loose leaf paper. What?
Okay.
What?
Cool.
So who like passing notes? What? That's a sub question. This is the structure of this does not allow for an answer to any of these questions. You answer one and then you have to answer the other one
Well, that's the
differently.
thing. It
'Cause if you-
requires an answer, but to each
the
question
same
in its own
question.
scope.
No, but these are stupid.
It doesn't flow.
Did this feel natural when you were reading this out loud, asking me these questions? Did you think this was a natural?
It's a staged interview. Nothing about
Who-
it's natural. Ironically enough, nothing about it's natural. Good.
No, that's not right though. That's what I'm saying is that's incorrect, is that it is natural. It should be very natural. You should have the parameters and understand what you're trying to get at, and then you should ask questions about it.
But it's group research, therefore that's
Group research.
seemingly physically
If
possible.
one can do it, everyone. No. These are weak. This is a weak.
Say project.
Weak project.
There
It
you go.
is a weak project.
Say project, not the other P word, please.